Good morning to the Moraine Curling Club. Sorry, I started audio a little late. This morning we're featuring uh, right now we get the semifinals for both the men's and the women's. Our featured game today, or this morning for this draw, is the Heinze rink versus the Margie Smith rink. And interesting thing, I was looking at the trophy of past national championships for women's. The Margie Smith name appears quite regularly on there. So appears the Heinze rank is going to have their trouble. They're going to have whatever they have to put a good complete game together to make it uh, to the finals. So right now we're still in the first end, and we're starting to skip rocks. And let's see what do we got right now. The Smith rink is sitting one, and Michelle's looking to hit on the inside of that and roll behind the guards. So far, from my perspective, it looks pretty good. Now, if she gets a roll, well, apparently not, but still sitting in the rings. So yellow is sitting one at this point. I imagine Smith will try to take that one out and roll behind the guards, but depends on how it curls out in the wings like that, and how she delivers the rock. So we'll see what happens. I'll go on mute for a moment here. So Margie's delivering her rock, and from my perspective, it looks like a good line on the rock. And she does get a little inside roll, but still sitting open. So my expectation is that Heinze will also try hit and roll, but this time get behind the guards, which would be a great position for her, given that she's trying to steal on this end without hammer, and put Smith into a position where can she, well, we'll see it where it rolls up before we even comment about any future rocks. This one seemed to hang a little and didn't quite curl up as much as he expected, and hit on the outside of the rock, so it rolled out of the rings. So basically, Margie has a layup to go for one if she chooses, which appears what she wants to do. A lot of times, skips at this level will throw through just to keep the hammer to score multiple on with the hammer. Sorry, I got pulled away on something else, and looks like she did throw through to keep the hammer. So, so Deb waited the lead for the Heinze rank. The call should be to put it right on the center line, close guard in. Yeah, I think that probably went just a little deeper than they had hoped, but still a good rock. Deb, Deb will dial in the weight eventually here. So the lead for the Smith rank appears to be Shelley Castle, if I'm pronouncing her name correct. And the call was to hit and roll, but got over curled on her. So Heinze caught a little bit of break there. Now Deb hopefully will lay a guard right in front of that one sitting in the house. Nicely done on Deb's part. Lined up real nicely. And because we're playing the no tick rule, that becomes a very challenging rock to deal with at this point. At this point, I think Smith's trying to just pull something to the wings, either corner guards or T-line weight out to the wing. sorry about the sorry about the dead air time for a little bit there, but now it looks like the other sorry, Michelle's gonna look to chip on the inside, push that red one out, and swing roll behind the guard that she just put up. They're hitting it so hard, so they just gotta squeeze by that yellow guard. Does not look like that's gonna happen. So Smith has the opportunity just get another one in the house to score two. So accomplish for blanking the first end, they accomplished their goal of scoring two and with the hammer. Do this. Come on, sweep it. Nope. Not quite enough to be able to get it out. So 2 points for Team Smith. So they're up 2-0 after two. There's a mandatory 1 minute break between ends, which gives the teams time to assess what's going the prior end, and then get set. So after the 1 minute mandatory timeout, there's a little 10-second timer that allows get set, and if they deliver the rock during that 10-second window, then the team is not charged any time for that delivery of that stone. I think what they're trying to do is what I call standard opening shot. Get a nice tight guard, preferably the best would be right on the center line to utilize the no tick rule, but that's a very nice placement for a guard. So it looks like Michelle's looking for Deb's rock to go behind that guard. So Deb's rock finishes just past the 4 foot. And this presents opportunity for the Smiths to call and take a little to hit that one and roll behind their guard. And you don't have to throw them, being where it is in the house, you don't have to throw it very hard, but make sure it rolls around. So it hit the yellow rock right on the nose, so then it presents that same opportunity for Michelle. So that was a nice little roll, you know, but the gap between those two rocks and mouse swing we're seeing on the sheets, it's not presenting that much of a challenge to get around the guard and come right down to the yellow one. So, which is what Smith is calling, come and sit on that yellow one. That's why this early in the end, you really don't want to be that deep. You know, keep everything above the tee line. And well, the rock had a little too much on it, and that was from. We're in the second rocks. So that was Shelly Kinney throwing. Now we have Jane Lee throwing for Team Heinze. Just gets behind the guard. The way these rocks seem to be carrying it seems like the ice is very quick this morning. And these games are being held at the Kettle Curling Club, which is located in Delafield, Wisconsin. Quite brisk outside if you want a little chilly, cold for most people. That was nicely done. Nice run back. Almost got both yellow rocks out. So we'll try. Michelle's looking to sit on the red rock that's in the 4-foot. Hopefully Jane has T-weight dialed in at this point. I believe Maggie's looking to just put another one in the 12-foot, just crossing the center line, take away the approach to get to their shot rock in the 4-foot. Given the weight, it looks like if it doesn't hit it, it's gonna go wrong. Okay. Creates a little bit of a pocket for Heather to hit or sit on it. I guess they're looking sit. Yeah, they gotta start thinking they have hammer in this end, so so a lot of red rocks in at this point for team with the hammer. So there was a nice roll right in front of the red shot rock. It's hard to tell actually which one's shot right now, but say Maggie's looking to take that one out, chip it sideways, and still leave the red in the 4-foot in position. But the way this is swinging, I expect more of a nose hit and just drive they're off the nose a bit and everything rolls out. And we still have red counting 3. Yeah, very nice shot. Then let's start cleaning up a little bit here. Okay, Skip's Rock's coming up. So I would expect that Smith will want to try to pretty much as close as possible nose hit the yellow. Enough, the way it's swinging and trying to, if there's enough space between, but cross and roll behind the yellow guard. But doesn't matter at this point for her. Just a straight up nose hit would be partially covered. Looks like she put some heat on it. May hold it out, but right about the hog line, it's probably going to start cutting in just enough to take it out. Then the hope was it would jam on one of the red ones, but instead it took the only yellow rock in the house out. As I said earlier, I don't know if they're the defending champions, but the Smith Rinks, Maggie Smith's won this tournament multiple times, so you gotta be up to the challenge if you want to take them on at this level. Don't expect they're gonna miss much. Michelle's rock seems to be hanging wide. Only took one red. I was thinking the hope was to hit on the inside and roll up on top of the one and touching the 8-foot. So, I don't know how Margie plays her game if she's actually going for the steal or just to hold Heinze to one. Imagine she wants to. She was going for the steal, tuck one something in, 4 foot behind the yellow guard. Because at this point, a guard's a guard. Doesn't matter what color it is. Looks a little fast. Probably going deep again. So Michelle needs to nose hit this one. Stick around. Right. So take her one and move on to the next end. This one needs to curl up a ton, and it's not. It's running really straight. So that was sorry to say, a huge miss. They needed to nose hit that one in the center. Missed it completely, leaving two more for red. Break. Take a look at what's going on in the other games. Why not? So, let's see, who's the team members here again? By the way, the Leeds Rock went deep, hanging on in the back of the house though, and I don't know what to call. Was it to go to corner guard or was it T-weight? But Debs are must be fast ice because that went way deep for this early in the end. So doesn't over curl, tap that out. Doesn't matter to them if it shooter hangs around. That would have been a bonus. Volume up. So, how's the sound check now? A little better? Okay, so I was able to throw up a nice corner guard. I think Margie wants to take a focus to the other side of the sheet. He's calling to put something, imagine, around T-weight on the left-hand side. It must be a really fast track because that was what, third or fourth one down that track that's gone all the way through the house. Could be a biter in the back. It's hard to tell from with the cameras. So Michelle's calling for Jane to put her rock behind the corner guard. She's dialed in T-weight. She need to get on it because looks like it's gonna crash on the guard. At least, how about bump it back? But the weight was pretty good, but
It's a biter.
yep. So, Margie gonna chase after that one, or? Kind of interesting call here. Her plan was to hit it and then roll in, but I don't know. My perspective, that one I don't even bother with. Not even worry about that one. Start building your house more towards the middle. So I didn't see if Michelle adjusted the broom on that one because the shooter actually needs to go around, not do the tap up. But Jane looked like she took a little bit off of this one. Hmm. Actually, the way those look like where they're stacked up. I'd almost, as opposing team, I'd almost want to draw behind myself. Okay, but I think she's looking to clear the guards. She'll slash it. You want to just hit it at an angle with good speed, and it's just throwing a good takeout weight. Just cross the nose on it and run both of them up.
Watch the jam.
that'd be a break for the Heinze rank. It's still biting on the back. I don't know how much is biting back there, but
All right, Mike. I lied. I'm going to come in here.
yes.
It's better with two people anyway.
It is. I bet. Otherwise, you're conducting a 2-hour-long monologue, and you know it's boring for everybody on that.
I was struggling sitting watching down on the couch and needed to get out of there, so I came up to the booth.
Which is, I love Scott's input on the games here. We both have vested interests on this. Scott more so than myself. Because this is a Kettle team playing. I don't know, where is the Smith rink from? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I can look it up though.
Okay. But Scott happens to be the spouse of Heather the Vice for the Heinze rink. So
shout out to Donna Seaboth. Says we sounding good.
Well, I'd love to hear Donna's voice on the stream here. Why don't you come in and talk to the microphone with us? You're very knowledgeable on the game.
This might be a little hot. Yep.
Ooh. Okay.
What do you like here, Mike? Top 12, behind the guard.
Center line, top 12.
Take away that freeze.
But definitely in the house. See if
Need a big end. Need a big one. Ladies, it's kind of way they've been this whole week. Really, they struggle like the first half of the game, and then they just find their mojo, like third, fourth end, and just turn it on.
But
this looks really nice.
They need a big end. 3 would be great. I mean, you don't have to get them all back at once.
Agreed.
It's an issue with a lot of young curlers, or new curlers, I should say. Is that like, oh, we got to get all of them back at once. No, we're only in the fourth end. I mean, it's who finishes strong is really matters. So as long as you just chip away at it, and, next thing you know, it's a tied game and it's the 7th end or something like that. So
we got 93 people watching right now. If you're watching, give us a shout out. Let us know where you're from, who you're rooting for.
We have our biases, obviously.
We do have our biases a little bit. The wife is the Vice on Team Heinze. Obviously, it's a Kettle team, and we're a Kettle club, so we do root for a good game, though. Like, we want a good game.
So imagine now Smith wants to draw between those two yellows.
Yeah, if I was her, I wouldn't mind a freeze to that back yellow. I don't know if she can quite get there. Weight looks pretty good. It's got a curl.
That's a good rock.
That is a pretty good rock. And you have jam potential on that hit. So Michelle really wants to hit probably the outside third of this rock. Slide it between the two yellow ones, and a slim chance to keep her shooter around, but I don't think with enough weight that it stays.
Well, primary objective is get rid of the red one.
Agreed.
I would hit it at the quarter to get it going more sideways. And don't worry about the shooter.
Agreed.
This is where the biters come in as bonus. Okay, if you can keep no reds in the house, that's where you really love those biters. That's where you get a big end. But don't build your game around it.
How many times have biters come to bite you in a match?
I think that's where why they use that term. Isn't it?
All right, so Michelle calling for the hit. I like it. The quarter rock. Probably losing the shooter. Might even lose your other yellow rock off the side there if it jams.
But
so hopefully that doesn't have a ton of weight.
Oh no, my worry is over.
It's going to over curl. Maybe nose and go by it.
Come on, Jane. Keep on it, Jane.
I think she's got it. Nope. But it's going to get it anyway. No. But that does jam over there.
But the red is still...
The red is still there.
Back.
It is accessible.
Yeah, but no. Smith just
Margie's gonna split the house, yeah.
Right. So how many times we was like, well, that wasn't the way we wrote it up.
No.
We're concerned about the jam, yeah, but didn't quite. It was still it overcurled. Don't know if she ticked the top yellow.
She did.
She did.
Yeah.
And that sent it at a different funky angle. So if she would have cleared the top yellow, it would have been a fantastic shot.
Yeah. You're welcome, Nikki. Thanks for chiming in.
Where's Nikki?
Nikki
from?
Rain saying hello. You know where Nikki's from.
Well, I didn't know who Nikki, which Nikki was chiming in here. So did we figure out where the Smith rink is from?
I did. Yeah, you know what? I got sidetracked. Anybody know where the Smith rink is from? Chime in, please. Let us know.
One of the few rinks I haven't had a chance to talk to this week. So don't know much about them.
Ladies around is pretty hard. Is this going to be short?
Nah, they just need to get it, touch 8.
Oh, there we go. Actually, it might be a little...
They need to touch 8. Doesn't make it
What do you think? Go for the big one? You're down 4? Cross house double for 6?
On some of the men's games, I've seen that shot.
I think you got to look at it.
I think she is. I've seen Michelle do this kind of shot. So she needs to, work hers in with the rock here. But given, I don't know, how much is it going to break coming off the center line there? She wants to hit it about where? A quarter on the inside towards the center line.
So I don't see anything where they give where the teams are from.
On the USA Curling site, it doesn't say where the teams are from.
Smith is from St. Paul Curling Club. Thank you, Karen. This is close. Oh, it's thin. Too thin. So red gets one.
Well, now we're coming up on the 5-minute break. See if the Heinze team can regroup for the second half. Let's see what other games we got going on here. Men's cheat D. What do we have? I don't have all the lineups here, do you?
Sheet D is Cirkvenic and Farbelo.
Okay.
So that's Richie Ruin's team on D.
So who's throwing what here? So it must be far below, must have yellow, and they're in the fourth. With far below leading 3-0.
It's like 2-0. 2-0.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Sheet A, the other women's game. Be Brown versus Jackson. And any idea who has which rocks? Red is leading 5-2 in the Jackson Brown. Just watching sheet D, the says far below, and who again? Just through. Had a draw for 2 and through. So I think they got 1. Hold. I gotta write these down. And sheet B. So Leclerc, I'm sorry. Holdstrom, was that who was on B?
Say again?
Who was on B?
B is Leclerc, and I'm not sure who the other team
Oldstrom.
was. Arizona team, Leclerc. Let me get that for you. Hedstrom versus Leclerc, and Hedstrom's got the lead.
Okay, well, and after 4, it's 6-0, Hedstrom over Leclerc. So Leclerc has been I've seen them at Club Nationals last spring. So I don't remember if they come up to USMCA Nationals.
This is stressful.
Yes.
Yes. You just want to see a good game. The girls they're not playing their best curling right now. So, but there's 2 halves, so we just need to write a better second half and get after it.
Taking a glance over on the other women's game, it would be Brown ahead 5-2. Brown is throwing the Red Rocks. And back to sheet C with the Heinze Smith matchup here. And they're starting the 5th end. So I was looking for, I don't know, in-house, close guard, right in the center.
She call a hit?
No,
I believe she did.
she got hit. Come down to weight,
Okay.
but that's gonna over curl and miss it.
Sit just a little bit. And it does.
Okay. No, she was either wanted top house or guard weight.
I think she's calling for a take. She's up 5. Just keep it clean.
No, this is what Margie's calling for.
Margie's
she's
Margie's
take
call
it out.
take.
Jesus.
Yeah. I don't know that I would go from this angle because you're risking a jam on that back one. She's coming across the top, so that'll be fine.
That's it over curls at the end and takes her own out in the back, but we could always have wishful thinking, right?
Yeah. I like the corner better. Deep in a corner somewhere, make it harder to hit.
They're not sweeping yet. That's not a good sign to me. Yeah. Is that where she was calling it?
Yeah, I think she wanted it more in the corner. Some corner ones are tough to get to. The center ones are a little easier. It'd been nice if she'd been out on the 12-foot somewhere. This one, yeah, she's got a piece of it.
Get a piece.
Yeah. Just keeping it clean, which is what Margie wants to do. Margie's okay giving up one here, and then she gets the hammer back. Of course, it's always nice when you're curling and you never get the hammer.
Yeah.
Love those days.
I was like, that hammer thing's overrated.
It is overrated.
Right? So, I'll let the other team have it the whole game. Now is she calling come down to?
I think she called down 2 here, but this is going to come up a bit short. Top 12, maybe top 8.
And, still early in the end. I tend to ignore the ones that deep. If you play down to it, then everybody else is playing down to it, and they just keep on piling it up.
Yeah.
Piling them up. So, and then you always have a chance of, also if you get some front of the house and they take, it just jams on the back. So.
And this is going to get a piece too and roll out.
You're going to get a bigger piece than you think.
Keeping it clean.
Oof. That was good. I wanted to curl up just a hair more and get the jam.
Get the jam on the back one.
Just what I had.
That would have been nice.
Right?
Michelle calling for the freeze now. Let's see what kind of split we get here if I can get it up fast enough. Yeah, I really got to get on this for it to stay. Close that.
A little vacuum cleaner noise here. That's a decent shot. Still exposed out there. So. Sorry, folks, we're muted because they're vacuuming around us, so we don't want to probably hear it all in the background. It's pretty annoying. We go back on mute. Okay, we think the vacuuming is done at this point, but so it was a decent placement for Heather's second rock. But I imagine Margie's is gonna quarter hit it, and well, actually, she nose hits it. Not a problem for her because then she's sitting what would be the edge of the 4 foot in the back. So just keep piling the red rocks in there. Going on some good weight. The question is how much is it breaking or not? It looks like it's running really, really straight. Just a little bite at the end and shooters things around, and I think it must have knocked that other red one out there, kicking it back. Unfortunately, it seemed like a typical end in this game. Couple red rocks in the house all the time that Michelle has to deal with when she coming. Oh, here comes vacuum cleaners coming back on, going on mute. Okay, back again. Decent placement, but I imagine Margie's just gonna hit. Uh, she'd probably actually want to hit and stick, force Michelle to hit her again. But if she loses her shooter, doesn't matter that much because she has that one half on the other side of the sheet. And force Michelle to do a draw. And they'll get a big enough piece of it to knock it out. Just enough. I don't know if it's biting on the back there or not, but kind of not relevant because the other one out counts and Michelle's going to be forced to draw. No, my preference is to draw from the other way because if it goes deep, you can use that one way in the back as backing. But each skip has their own preference on that. So Michelle's experienced enough to, be able to go from that take she just threw to dial it back to T weight. Then all she really needs is get full 12. But in these situations, my target is always T weight because then I'll let the sweepers take it to wherever. Well, Heinze Rink's finally on the board. So on the other women's game, the Brown rink just scored another 4 in the fifth. So after 5, they're leading 9-4 over the Jackson rink. And then on the men's side, I think it's Hedstrom versus Leclerc. Hedstrom is leading 6 to. Oh, try that again. 8-0 after 5. And the far below Javernik game, far below. They're in the fifth, far below leading 2-1. at this point sitting 3 in the 4-foot, guarded well. And they're shooting skips rocks. And far below is hammer with 3 in the 4-foot, 1 red in the edge of the 8. So the far below throwing yellow, so all he has to do is draw within 8 foot to get 4. That would probably set that game up for the rest for them. All right, back to our Heinze Smith matchup. So Michelle's calling for a come around. Those two red guard, well, the red guard and the one in the house. Although I'm wondering why she's not just trying to guard that red run back, but I suppose put one in between the reds and the yellow. Struggling with weight again still here. Jane put one through. So now Margie's just going to run that red straight back into the yellow shot rock. Ooh, this presents an opportunity for Heinze because it could just ticket and move. Kind of missed it. That's a fortunate thing for Smith, I imagine, because now she can do that run back again if it's still there. I think Michelle wants to take that away from her. Unfortunately, with that placement, Smith can just run that one back. And looking at the other run backs they've done, this is kind of academic for them. They've done this a few times already in this game, so. Hung a little wider than she had hoped, which actually gave Heinze a big break there, because now actually split those two yellows, and they're about even, so it would be really hard to double. Michelle's calling to put this one behind the red guard, top of the house. Got around the guard. Plenty of room. So, tucked decently behind the guard. Not completely. I've seen teams at this level just, whatever is exposed, just to squeeze it right by the guard and blow out what you think is a safe shot rock. I think Smith is just looking to run their red right straight into that one. Didn't curl up enough in the end as they had hoped. But it was able to get one of the yellows in the back out. So yellow's still sitting 2. I don't know. From the way they've been hitting and doing run backs, throwing a guard and trying to cover stuff up may not be the best strategy. Might be better to try to split them up so they can't double stuff out. Michelle really wanted and needed to hit that red one on the nose so it would stick around. But no. Smith is looking how can she double out the 2 yellows. I think she's looking to hit it just off the nose on the center line side. And didn't quite curl up as much as she expected. So now Michelle, to me, she has 2 options: split it, but she'll just hit the one that was where she hits. The Margie would hit it where and stick to score a point. I think the option I'd look at is to stick one right on top of the 8 foot, right in front of the yellow rock in the house. So yes, that leaves the 4 foot wide open to draw to, but Smith's one that could easily do that. However, it just if you put it there and she hits it, runs it straight back, then you could be sitting two, or you would still be sitting shot. So sorry. Needs to be an house. And gonna go deep right down to the other one. So Margie wants to hit those. I think seems to me she's a little more comfortable with her hit game than to draw. So if she gets them both out, she loses the shooter. No loss on her part because the lead that she does have. Nice shot by Margie. Hit it just right, got both. I didn't quite see the angle where she hit it, but bouncing just off the nose. Just kind of hope I hit an angle that would jam on the two yellows together. So on the men's games, after 6, the Leclerc, Hedstrom. Hedstrom's leading 8-0 after 6. Oh, they're in the 6. Sorry. The Trivernick far below. Far below did score 4 in the 5th, so they're up 6-1. Brown rink is leading Jackson 9-3 after 6. I'm not sure if Smith had the lead throw the first rock all through intentionally, but they did go through. So Heather does have, I think it was a broken wrist, broken arm bone thing, but I think it was a wrist. So has sort of a cast on that hand. Really hampers her sweeping ability. sneaker, yellow rock behind, right past the guard, perfect. You can tap the red back to be shot now, and perfectly placed behind their yellow guard. Which is, so Margie's trying to come in on top of the yellow one, I think. I don't think she wants to give it a little nudge as well. What I do in these situations, I'm not looking to actually hit that yellow out. I just want to push it sideways a little bit, make it exposed. So on the next shot, you have a chance to take it out. And I have Tess Munich joining me. Tess, you want to talk?
Nope.
Yeah, you're talking.
I
Come
don't
on.
have anything to say.
No.
We are just looking forward to having the finals here at 2 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And that's all I have to say.
So, with your vast curling experience, it's like, where do you think Jane should put her next rock here? So.
That is a Skip's decision, not my decision, and
but it's a
do
team game.
yeah,
So,
I just follow my directions.
Yeah, see.
I pretend to be a good curler.
Yeah. What position do you prefer? Lead?
I prefer to play second because there's a wide variety of shots.
Okay.
And I'm not really necessarily the best draw maker there is.
So you're more inclined for a hit style game, huh?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Oh,
Sometimes.
That's good
it's
use.
Just fun. It's just a great winter activity that keeps us out and moving around.
So at this point now, Margie's starting to clear the guards out, or the guard, and what we've seen before, that guard is about 4 feet out from front of the house, but they've hit these before in this game, right on the nose. At that point, it'll blow the guard out, and but it's over curling on her, and it'll just split the guard, still leaving the 2. Okay. Well, thank you, Tess, for
Have fun.
having your couple minutes of input, and
I'm heading back to the kitchen.
she loves the kitchen.
I love kitchen.
Yeah. What's on the menu today?
We are having pulled pork soup, sandwiches, and then I'm tired, so we're gonna have cake and ice cream.
Oh, all right. Finally, some good dessert.
Yeah, cake and ice cream is always good.
Talk to you later, Tess. Okay, so far this is looking pretty decent for the Heinze rink. From my perspective, they're sitting 2, but there's still 4 rocks to go for both sides. And my expectation was run that top yellow straight back. And she seems a bit wide on that one. But if it hangs around, no, it's coming up. It'll just get the top one and roll out. So, put that one back. Tap that top yellow back. I kind of like that idea. And just put it right in on the red one in the back. Put my Michelle's looking just put that blocker back up there, but still love to have it in the at least the 12 foot, touching the 8. See if Heather's dialed in on her draw weight now. She found guard weight, and Marty's gonna try again. And here comes Norma's first. Is it her second rock now? Sorry. That one seems to be hanging out a little wide again. Rocks seem to be quite weight sensitive. Gives some speed, I suppose, a little extra spin on it. They run pretty straight. So, hopefully Heather can find top 12 weight on this one. Although her guard did its job on the last end. Looks to be about the same as the last one. And I'm seeing just the edge of the rock on this middle of the screen, which means it's about 4 feet out of the house. And I think Margie's not going to bother with taking that top one out anymore. She's going to go for the one in the back. And that's in a spot where she can get a good hit and roll over. Be right up on her red one. And her red one that's touching the 4 foot, and that would be really, really hard to dig out given where the yellows are. You need to come at killer weight to move stuff out. But you need a little bit of curl, and that time she didn't get as much as she had hoped, I imagine. This presents the opportunity for Michelle to hit and roll over on the red one, the red in the back of the 4 foot, but the red she's aiming at is shot at this point, so definitely needs to go away. But you don't want to leave, Michelle doesn't want to leave her rock exposed, because then Margie can do that hit and roll herself. Looking good so far. Don't want it to over curl. Over curled. So did push it out enough to make yellow the shot rock. So then Margie will be happy to. I think her plan is to try to tuck behind the yellow shot rock, but if she's sitting exposed, she can happily give up one in the 7th here and then come back in the 8th, up by a bunch with the hammer. Margie. Oh, I think she was hoping she'd get that kind of shot with her LSDs and during the earlier in the competition, but who knows? Maybe she did. But with LSDs, that last shot would be what you'd really love to have, just touching the button with the edge of the rock. Which surprisingly, with the measurements they do, for the LSD goes from the button, the pinhole, to the center of the rock. So even though the edge of the rock is touching the pinhole, you still get measurements. And one I saw yesterday was still like 11 centimeters, or whatever the diameter, the radius of the rock is. Oh, she'll throw the same shot she just did. She should be able to nose hit the shot rock, and yellow would come away with 2 in this end. Looking good, clearing the guard just perfectly. So it looks like 2 yellow. Now, here's the huge challenge. How do you steal 3 against a team like Smith? Let's check in the other games. I see the Claire team is game done. Hedstrom, they do update here. It was 9-0 Hedstrom, so I think they shook. Over on sheet B, far below, it was still 6-2. And they're in the 7th end. And the other women's game, Brown versus Jackson. Brown was up 9-3. They're in the 7th with Jackson sitting 1. And this looks like Brown's second skip rock. And they have hammer. So all she needs to do is touch 4-foot in order to score 1 more. Sweepers there are trying to drag it in as far as they go. But from my perspective, it looks like it could be almost to the button. Just full 4-foot, so that was it. 1 more for Brown, and Jackson's shaking. So it's going to be Brown in the final for the women. For the men's, Hedstrom won, so they're in the final, and it looks like the far below game is done. I didn't see how they finished, but they shook and they're pushing rocks back, and far below was up by 4 points earlier. So imagine they scored a couple more, and that was it. So on the men's, we got Hedstrom versus far below. Women's will have Brown. And at this point, it's looking like Smith. Now, I have seen in this tournament multiple times that somehow team came back in without hammer in the 8th, scored 3 to tie. So it is possible. You gotta just manage the end right. Well, for both teams to manage it. So that one. The skips are checking on if that guard that Deb just threw is actually on the center line. From our perspective, it is. It's just off the screen. in the center. What we're broadcasting, that means it's about 4.5 feet out of the house. So I think what the call would be here. They're not putting that back, so either Skipsy, Michelle said she was happy with the result, or it wasn't on the center line. Once in a while, you get pointed like, I'd rather take the hit, and don't pull it out because it knocked the rock off the center line. So hopefully Jane can put one right on here now. Another one on the center line. Over curled a bit. The top yellow exposed, and Margie's not wasting any time to go after it. So the Shelly, I think, is throwing this one. So basically, Margie needs to run Michelle out of bullets on this, so Michelle needs to come out with 3 somehow. Jane's second rock needs to curl up and get by the yellow guard. I thought she was hitting the red one. Oh well, just a draw in behind the guard. But it's going through. So if she was actually going for the hit, I would have taken the other turn, but that's me. So Margie's looking to chip that yellow away on the edge of the 12-foot out. They missed a couple of times on this shot earlier in the game. But not this time. This one looks really good. So Heather's first rock. Michelle's calling just upper, like 8 foot, tucked behind their yellow guard. Weight looks pretty decent. You just squeeze by the guard, and they do. Got in real nice, about T-weight. So Michelle's liking the idea, just run that red back right at the yellow shot rock. Now the amount of curl coming right down the center has been kind of problematic for both teams. So looks like Norma was a little wide of the broom, which is probably fortunate because it did move. I think if she would have actually hit the broom, probably would have clipped the guard. sit on those two reds out there out in the wings to keep it from getting hit out, but carrying a little too far. It's still, from my perspective, still looks like a shot, but Margie's can go right after that. It'll catch a break and it'll over curl and clip on a red one. Norma's second shot coming up here. It's a little wide. They curl up enough to clip it. Nope. There's the break Heinze needed. So I would imagine Heinze will. Let's see what she's calling. They get plenty of time on their clock, so they can discuss this for a while. So it looks like the other women's game is wrapped up, and Brown won 10-3 over Jackson. So at this point, this is the only game that's active. So, skipping device came to a consensus of what they want to do. Looks like bugger up to come down to the red ones on the side, on the wings there. At this point, it's not going to curl up enough, and well, they're done. Because that just hit the what was the yellow shot rock out of the rings or around the edge, but whatever, the two reds that are in the rings there, I'll count it. And that is it. They are shaking. So, okay, so it will be Smith versus Brown in the women's final, and then in the in the bronze medal match, it will be Heinze versus Jackson at 2 p.m. Central Time. We'll talk to you then.